This prayer, this little prayer, has been spoken by millions of people over the years to reaffirm the presence of God wherever we are, the presence of God, to reaffirm that. So why don't we together read this prayer of protection? And, it's something that I as we were singing the song, the hymn, I was looking out over our congregation, and I know that some of you folks that have been in Unity, around Unity for years, you weren't even following the words in the hymnal. It's so much a part of your being. And so let's read this together, shall we? Together, let's start over again. Ready? Okay, go. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I can do and be through Christ the truth that is in me. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. That to me pretty well covers whatever needs there may be. Each of us have had challenges in our life. And sometimes we feel they're great challenges, big challenges, and sometimes small challenges. But nevertheless, we've all had these difficulties in our life, when we all have felt disadvantage in certain areas of our or around certain people. We may feel that we're at a disadvantage, and then oftentimes discouragement begins to move in. We're discouraged because we don't feel as though we are as smart as someone, well-dressed, whatever, okay? And so this is so very easy for these kinds of thoughts, these kinds of feelings to move into our consciousness. And then, it's kind of like we return, even though we know differently, even though we've heard differently and learned maybe a little different, but we kind of turned back to the old way of thinking, the old way of responding, the old way of living our life, and we sort of forget that there is God there, and we are a creation of God, and that we are, of course, we're different from everyone else. We're supposed to be. We're supposed to be different than everyone else. We are unique. But nevertheless, this whole prayer here lets us know that whatever the thought, whatever the feeling, whatever the discouragement, whatever the might be, we can reaffirm again and again and again, if necessary, this: God is my help in every need. What kind of need do we have? What kind of need do we have that perhaps we're not asking for God's help at this particular time? And we can. And really, we should. Okay? Said many times that, God's telephone line is never busy. Anytime we choose to turn within and say, Father, I need your help. Father, I don't know what to do. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say, Father, I don't know how to work through this, or how to solve this, or how to whatever. But I know that you know. I know that you have the answer. And then, of course, the next thing to do is to listen. Once we ask, we need to listen. And I've said before, we are so used to telling our challenge, our problem, our whatever it is, that we don't listen. We don't listen to what the answer is. But the answer is there. Whatever the challenge is, the answer is always there. But we need to listen so that we hear what we need to do, what direction we need to go in, what we need to say in a situation. The discouragement and feeling inadequate and inferior is really a sign. Yes, it is a sign of weakness. But I was thinking back how that a baby, a tiny little baby, they are so. Excuse me. They have feelings of inferiority right from the very beginning because they can't do anything for themselves. Okay? They cry when they need the diaper changed. They cry when they're alone. They cry when when they're hungry. And it's up to us to fulfill that need. And it's a very, very, very same thing with that Spirit of God in us. When we cry out for help, okay? When we cry out for help, ask for God's help. It's like a loving parent, okay? Loving parent. God is there to change our diaper or feed us or whatever needs to be done, okay? Whatever needs to be done. I read quite a long time ago an example of strength through weakness, okay? And the story said that this young man, Angelo, was born in the slums of Brooklyn, New York, and that he was a son of an Italian immigrant. At 16 years old, this young man weighed 97 pounds, and he was frail. He was nervous. He was fearful of the tough guys, of course. So at the age of 16, he visited a Brooklyn museum. I think this is so interesting, particularly since this is the month that we are aware of imagination. Okay, imagination, what we see in our mind's eye. So at the age of 16, he went to the Brooklyn Museum and was transfixed by a statue that he saw there, the Greek gods and the goddesses. He was just transfixed with all this. And then Hercules got his attention, and he was just wow. He was amazed to hear that these statues were made in the likeness of actual men, okay? Actual men and women at the time. And he had a realization that if they could develop themselves in that manner, in that way, he also could develop in that manner. So he went, on to develop exercise techniques, which later made him very famous, because he ultimately attained that goal of becoming the world's most perfectly developed man. He became Charles Atlas. Here he is, this frightened 16-year-old, and not the best area, and talking about feeling alone, being picked on, not being appreciated. Okay, but there it is. There it is. God is my help in every need. Okay. The message came to him from going to this museum. Okay? Maybe he didn't hear, but somehow he heard to go to the museum, and there is where he received the inspiration to do what he knew, deep within him, knew that he needed to do and could do. I guess the point I'm making here, excuse me, it is our sense of disadvantage, of limitation, injustice, inadequacy, or even failure that can drive us to positive accomplishments. Okay, my late husband used to say frequently, when we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, we do something about it. We began looking for answers. We began asking. Okay, we began asking, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Okay, so the Eric Butterworth, and most of you know Eric Butterworth, a long-time, wonderful Unity minister. In fact, his mother was a Unity minister, and his brother was a Unity minister, and Eric really he did some wonderful work. Anyway, he tells the story of a famous neurologist who after having a stroke left him paralyzed on one side of his body and also speechless. And one day he wrote on a slate. Okay, one day he wrote, I will recover. I will walk. I will speak. And he did. He did recover and was capable of even more than that. So in this way, he proved that even if there's injury to the brain, okay, another area of the brain can take over and begin functioning, begin moving, begin working. And there's just so many instances, stories, whatever, that we can relate to. How, in great need, the answer comes. In great need, the answer comes. To a student of truth, or to those who seek a better way through God, we can take advantage of these seemingly negative feelings, okay, negative feelings and thoughts, and transform them into the good, transform them into more fulfilling. It's the answer, in other words, because whenever we have these feelings, we're looking for a divine answer. We're looking for God to answer, to fulfill us. That's really what it is. And we do have the tools. We have the tools of denial and affirmation to release the lesser, to make room for the greater, and to continue to go back as many times as we need to knowing that God is our help in every need. God does our every hunger feed. What are you hungry about? And don't tell me steak and eggs, okay? But what are you hungry for? What do you need? What do you desire? Okay? And don't think in terms of, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the education, I don't have the whatever. That has nothing to do with it. If it's a divine idea, that idea came from God. And it's yours to develop. It's yours to use the our imaging faculty, and knowing that God is your help, that'll bring forth that into manifest form. Okay? However, it's important really that we acknowledge any feelings of less than who we are and what we are. That we identify them, we look at them, and so that they can be healed. That they can be healed, and we can say, "Sure, I feel inferior. Sure, I feel limited. Sure, I feel like this." Okay, this is a fact of human consciousness, and I said fact because facts change. Truth does not. Truth is the same. Yea, Jesus Christ said, the same. Yesterday, today, and yea, forever. The truth. Facts change, okay? So always remember that these negatives are facts. They can be changed. And they can be if we're willing to change. And so excuse me. Jesus said these words. He said, I of myself can do nothing. He said, he wasn't the one doing the doing. It was through him. He said, I of myself can do nothing. That comes from John. But the second half of that affirmation is this. But through the power of God, I can do all things. It's simply releasing, being open to what is it? What is it that God would have you to do? What is it that God would have you experience? And you can rest assuredly that it's all good. God has only good for us. Not anything less than good and very good. Because go back to the first chapter of Genesis. When he created creation, he said it was, and the seventh day, he said, and it was good, but not only good, but very good. Very good. So, let's be willing to admit wherever we're at in consciousness, okay? I can't do this. I don't know how to do it. But Father, I know that you can. And you can through me, through us. So God is our help in every need. And so let's take a moment, and you have your little card. You don't need to take it out. But I'm going to use that as an affirmation. So as a meditation, excuse me. So if you want to hold it in your hand, that's fine. If you don't, that's all right too. I don't care. So we take this time together. And there's always a tremendous amount of energy in joint consciousness. So we're joining together in a consciousness of allness, of oneness. God truly is your help in every need. Every need. Every need. And every hunger that you have, God is willing to fulfill that. Whatever desire you carry in your heart, God is willing and able to fulfill that. God walks beside you and guides your way so that you cannot make a mistake. You're listening, you're hearing the direction that you need to go, whether it's your footsteps or your consciousness. God walks beside you in the inner and the outer level and guides your way through every moment of the day. Every moment of the day, that Spirit of God, that guiding light, that love is with you. Every day, every moment, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, that's the truth. That is the absolute truth of your being. So therefore you are wise, and you are true to the truth of your being, true to the truth that God is with you. And you're patient and kind and loving because you have no reason to be otherwise. No reason to be otherwise. All things you can do and you can be through that presence and power of God in you. The truth that is in you, the Christ truth. The redeeming, uplifting, healing truth of your being. God is your health. You can't be sick. God does not know illness. God knows radiant health. God is your strength, unfailing, quick, unfailing quick. God is your all. You know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. God is your help in every need.